Welcome back to Hashtag That. I'm Ryan Zayaks.
And I'm Liam Chen. From Mountain Film Festival to Black Mirror, we're back with the latest entertainment news updates.
All that and more from Hamden to Hollywood. We are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news. That was good.
From Hamden to Hollywood,
we are your source for Quinnipiac's entertainment news.
This past Wednesday, Julian Lauren Schreiner, author and wife of Weezer Bassett Scott Schreiner, was shot and wounded during an encounter with the LAPD. The incident took place after an unrelated hit-and-run chase ended near Schreiner's home, bringing officers to the area in response to the crime. With officers on scene, she reportedly exited her residence brandishing a handgun, leading to a tense altercation. In the LAPD's official report, they state, quote, The officers ordered Schreiner to drop the handgun numerous times. However, she refused. Schreiner then pointed the handgun at the officers, and an officer-involved shooting occurred, end quote. After the incident, she was taken into custody and charged with attempted murder. She is currently being held on $1 million bail as legal proceedings begin. Despite the incident, Weezer, including Scott Schreiner, performed a planned set on Saturday at Coachella without addressing the matter publicly. With an investigation into the incident still pending and many details unclear, fans are currently left with more questions than answers.
Box office smash hit A Minecraft Movie is making headlines not only for its $313 million global debut, but for the chaos it's causing in theaters. Inspired by viral TikTok trends, young fans are turning screenings into rowdy celebrations, cheering, tossing popcorn, shouting lines like, "I am Steve" and "Chicken Jackie." Director Jared Hess responded to the frenzy saying, quote, "It's weird when you're having too much fun and the cops get called. I'm glad people are making memories with their friends and families." While Hess embraces the excitement, cinemas like Cineworld and Reel are cracking down, warning that disruptive behavior will lead to removal or even police involvement. With stars like Jack Black, Jason Momoa, the film's theatrical run is turning into a cultural movement. Some theaters have started scheduling rowdy-friendly showings to manage the hype while keeping the peace. The online buzz is only adding fuel to the fire, with fan-made memes, parodies, flooding social media. Whether it's chaos or connection, Minecraft is proving it can build more than just blocky worlds. It's building unforgettable movie nights.
In exciting sci-fi news, Dune 3 may be adding another major star to its stellar lineup. Robert Pattinson, while no official deal has been struck, Deadline reports their strong interest in casting the Batman actor as Skyttle, a villainous character in Denis Villeneuve's final chapter of the epic franchise. The film, which follows the massive success of Dune Part 1 and Part 2, together earning $1.112 billion and 8 Oscars, is set to begin shooting this summer with Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, and Florence Pugh expected to return. Quote, "Stars are lining up at the chance to appear in the Oscar-winning franchise," end quote. As Deadline notes, as Villeneuve prepares what he's calling his final entry in the Dune franchise. If cast, Pattinson would join one of the most star-studded ensembles in movies. Fans are already speculating how his take on Skyttle could bring a new level of intensity to the saga. With Villeneuve at the helm, expectations for Dune 3 are soaring as high as the sandworms of Arrakis.
This past Tuesday, the Quinnipiac School Communications hosted their 7th annual Mountain Film Festival. The festival, sharing its namesake with the Colorado-based film festival, showcased a series of independent documentary films. Students gathered in the open-air studio for the showing of 10 films. Each of these films was presented by a member of the Quinnipiac community. Unfortunately, the planned guest, Matt Lines, was unable to attend the event due to illness. The event was wrapped up with a raffle drawing giving attendees a chance to win prizes donated by local sponsors, adding to the festival's a festive close to the inspiring events of storytelling and community engagement. The festival continues to be a highlight for the university, celebrating adventure, activism, and the indomitable human spirit through film.
There's always some sort of fashion trends going on that everyone seems to want a bandwagon. Here with this week's fashion faves is Shayna Barrett to tell us all the latest drip.
Thanks, guys. All these neat glow-ups going around, I'm not sure if my closet or wallet can handle it. Prada is set to buy Versace for $1.38 billion later this year, according to Robert Burke, the founder of Robert Burke Associates. Quote, "It's a bold and ambitious move by Prada. The acquisition would position Prada to diversify its portfolio and compete on a larger global scale," end quote. Prada will be borrowing €1 billion in order to go through with the deal, putting itself into debt for what they see as a, quote, "new dimension, different and complementary," says Andrea Guerra, Prada's group chief executive. Versace has huge potential, but the journey will be long, end quote. The decision to buy Versace comes as a welcome surprise, as the two brands have ever different styles. Prada steps outside of the norm of what femininity should look like and challenges what is seen as beautiful and what isn't. On the other hand, Versace is known for the hyper-feminine, flashy, and made-for-the-male gaze type of fashion. Sweden recycling centers overloaded due to the EU-wide ban. The ban requires citizens of the EU to separate textiles into a separate bin instead of throwing them away, culminating in a 60% increase in January and February of recycled textiles than by the same time last year. While the increase in recycling textiles is good for the environment, Sweden does not have the space, employees, or money to be able to support the increase, forcing Sweden to outsource the load. Yvonne Augustsson, the advisor at the Swedish Environmental Protection Agency, called on the citizens of Sweden, saying, quote, "In Sweden, an article of clothing is used on average 30 times. If you double this to 60 times, which seems reasonable, you reduce the climate impact by half." The citizens are not the only ones to be called on for change. Fast fashion companies are in negotiations in Europe regarding their responsibility to help clean the waste they help to create. H&M, a Swedish company, expresses that they welcome the change to make clothes that last longer. H&M has announced they will be starting to use AI-generated photos of models rather than actual photo shoots. Vilma Schoberg and Mathilda Gavarlini are just two of the models that have already signed their likeness to H&M for these photos. The Union for Creative Industries, Philippa Childs, head of Bectu, raises its concerns on the matter, saying, quote, "Even if models are compensated for the use of their image, it is hard to see how using technology will not have a significant deterrent to other fashion creatives and industry workers, from makeup and hair to rigging and lights," end quote. Although the models are said to be paid millions for their likeness, models are dealing with job losses already, and many are concerned about the future of modeling with AI. Luckily, the Fashion Workers Act will be taking effect in June, which requires consent from models to use their likeness for AI with agencies in that state. Even further, the AI Act, which forces AI-generated images to be labeled as AI, will be implemented in the EU in 2026. Now, it's difficult to think of the right words to say that will summarize my gratitude for the show. Ever since I got to college, I have been a part of Q30, just not #that. I started as crew in my first semester for Quinnipiac Tonight. My next semester, I became an associate producer, a role that I held for 3 consecutive semesters. Then this year came around and I became executive producer for Quinnipiac Tonight. And I could not be more thankful of everything that it brought me, including introducing me into #that. I always knew #that was a Q30 show, as I had watched my friend Aaron Russell be on live stream, but I never thought it would be a place for me. One day last year, I was asked to do crew for the show and realized just how much fun I had being there. Alex Kendall especially made me feel so at home from the very beginning. Her and Aaron encouraged me to go on camera to do a sidebar like I am now. I've always been camera shy, but with all the support from everyone in the club, I was able to break out of my shell and have fun being on air. This past semester, I even got to host for the very first time, and it was amazing. I truly believe that this show and everyone involved in it has made me a more confident person. I want to thank all of the producers and crew for welcoming me with open arms, as it would not be the same without you. I also want to thank my parents who have supported me so much. They have never missed a show, whether it be for Quinnipiac Tonight or #that. I would not be where I am now without you. Thanks for listening. We will be back after this commercial break.
I'm an ex-drug dealer, and I'll be your sub today. 2 milligrams of fentanyl can be lethal. A lethal dose is in here. Who gets it, I won't know.
It's cheap, it's potent, and it's profitable.
The sad reality is, fentanyl is being mixed into everything now.
More kitchen now.
Where did the time go? I don't know how I got here.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority.
Love your mind.
Drop has recently hit theaters, and here to drop their review is Frank Lloyd.
What's up, hashtag? I'm Frank, and man, this weekend was a great one for movies. We had an action thriller with The Amateur, we had Warfare from A24, originality is thriving right now. But the movie I will be reviewing today is Blumhouse's new film, Drop. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I am not on the best terms with Blumhouse right now. Don't get me wrong, I actually like a lot of their movies. I think that they're great at giving filmmakers a voice with horror and a low budget to do their own artistic vision. But sometimes they can be a little hit or miss. Sometimes low budget horror is hard to get right. So I wasn't sure what to expect going into Drop, especially with the trailers either giving too much away or just not promising a lot. And wow, I gotta say, this might be my favorite Blumhouse film since maybe The Black Phone in 2022. Yeah, I love this one. I think it's probably the biggest surprise of the whole year so far. And while the concept is very small, it's not a very big one. It's secluded in one single restaurant the entire film. It's only got a handful of actors, but it's one of those movies that does a lot with very little. It's very stylish, if you know what I mean. The cinematography and lighting just brings this environment to life. But I think what makes the entire movie for me is how well it utilizes its concept. Now, at first, the idea that this woman is getting these meme airdrops is kind of ridiculous, but it goes very far with it. The whole idea that now she is trapped in this one location, anyone around her could be the criminal, because the movie plays with the idea that everyone's a suspect, but at the same time, since it's a secluded environment, you get to know all these characters' background, their quirks, their past, maybe even some of their secrets, and you want everyone to survive. The characters actually make smart decisions that progress the story, and not dumb ones that lead them closer to death. And you sympathize with them for that reason. And I think especially the protagonist, played expertly by Megan Fairley, she is amazing in the movie. She gives a great performance that makes you sympathize with her character and also just get kind of emotional over this horrible past she went through. Now her son's life is on the line and she has no choice but to go with these airdrops, to do what she's told by this mysterious villain. And the whole mystery is just very well built up to. By the time we got to the killer reveal, the whole crowd was just going wild. Yeah, throughout the movie, I heard oohs, I heard ahs, I heard laughs at the awkward humor. Since this is a date movie, it does play around with how awkward first dates can be. And I like that. It knew when to be funny and when to shock the viewers. The build up to get to that killer reveal and the whole race to save all the characters that we have grown to love over the course of the movie. I just thought that the build up was worth it. The payoff, the journey to get there was just such a wild ride. I would absolutely recommend seeing this movie. I was not ready for how much I was going to enjoy it. The audience seemed to be really into it. And for that, I am going to give Drop an 8 out of 10. So those are my thoughts on Drop. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Back to you.
We're back. The energy seems to be a bit low today, but nothing that a little music can't fix. Here with this week's Sound Exchange is Zoe Madzel.
Thanks, guys. There's too much going on in music right now, and I'm feeling very opinionated about the stories I have today. The music industry is currently engaged in a significant legal battle with AI music platforms like Suno and Udio. The central issue is the unauthorized use of copyrighted recordings to train AI models, leading to the creation of deepfakes that mimic famous artists. This has raised concerns about intellectual property rights and unpaid royalties. Major labels such as Universal, Sony, and Warner Music Group are seeking substantial damages, arguing that AI's use of their content constitutes copyright infringement. Suno and Udio defend their actions by claiming fair use, arguing that their systems analyze musical patterns rather than directly copying songs. However, the music industry is skeptical, fearing that allowing AI platforms to use copyrighted material without compensation could erode their revenue streams. The outcome of this case will set a precedent for how AI is integrated into creative industries. As the industry navigates these challenges, it faces a critical decision. Liam and Ryan, should the industry prioritize litigation or invest in an AI-driven solutions to reclaim control?
I think it's actually kind of a slippery slope. My heart wants to say no to AI. I think AI should be out of music. I don't think it has a place, in my opinion, in its current state. But on the other hand, you brought up a good point. It's like, how do you kind of legally dispute things like this, you know? I think they may have a valid argument with fair use, especially if they're changing it so much. But what do you guys think about that?
Yeah, AI just blurs so many lines, and especially like what you just said, Liam, in creative things like music, and then you venture into art, like things like writing, things like film, like it gets so tricky when you introduce AI into these things. Then we're bringing up copyright and revenue and like the world of, like, it's already kind of freaky when you hear AI deepfakes of people's voices and the ways that people can distort that, and especially in regards to music, it just becomes such a slippery slope, kind of like what you said, Liam.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's hard to say because, you know, it definitely can get kind of blurred in between, but I think, you know, for the reasons that it was created, you know, for AI to be a helpful tool that can just, you know, take care of the little tasks that we don't want to do, that's great. I think that would be very helpful, but what it's turned into is some kind of a, you know, it's taking over the creative tasks in our lives that are really more meant for, like, okay, this is what we want to be doing. Why are we giving AI, you know, all of the things that we would rather be spending our time with, like art and music? And I think that's why it's so important to, you know, leave it up to the humans to actually create music. But yes, Madonna and Elton John appear to have finally put an end to their decades-long feud after meeting backstage after his musical performance on SNL. The rivalry between the two dates back to the early 2000s, when Elton made multiple jabs at both her looks and her music, and that rift had apparently been going strong up until now, following the release of Elton John's joint album with Brandi Carlile. The two of them appeared to perform on SNL last weekend, and once catching word of this, Madonna decided to go watch herself. She took to Instagram last Monday stating, quote, "I needed to go backstage and confront him. When I met him, the first thing out of his mouth was, 'Forgive me,' and the wall between us fell down. Forgiveness is a powerful tool. Within minutes, we were hugging," end quote. The two even mentioned the possibility of a collab in the future. The public response to the news was overwhelming relief, especially coming from the LGBTQ community. Their public feud reflects an era when high-profile artists frequently exchanged unvarnished critiques in media interviews, a practice less common today. Modern artists, guided by PR teams and media training, typically avoid openly disparaging peers, opting for curated public personas over candid confrontations. This shift highlights evolving expectations around professionalism and image management in the industry. Liam and Ryan, do you guys see a difference in celebrity feuds today and the way that they're handled?
Yeah, I definitely see a big difference because I think a lot of things, obviously we see in the world as a whole, are digitized, right? It's all this stuff is happening online. You're not really seeing these face-to-face interactions, and I think obviously the media's been around for a long time, and that's kind of the beginning of this issue. But I think that social media really exacerbates these issues. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, and social media can create them too.
Absolutely.
Like I think of the situation between LeBron James and Stephen A. Smith. If you guys have heard about that, where they kind of had their back and forth, and it gets caught on camera, and then it becomes a thing that, like, to capitalize on. Like Stephen A. Smith is going on a ton of podcasts, LeBron's going on a ton of podcasts to talk about it. So it becomes a thing where social media can create it and then forward it.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting to see. There are a lot of things that contribute, but well, guys, it's truly been a pleasure joining you guys today, but I feel I've run out of sounds to exchange, so I think this is where we segue into what's next.
Black Mirror's 7th season just hit Netflix, giving audiences another suspenseful story. Here to tell us the thrills that happened this time is Joe Flynn.
Enter the review.
Hey hashtag. Season 7 of Black Mirror just came out last Thursday, and I have a lot to share with you guys about the season. Before I begin though, I'm gonna be going in order of my least favorite episode to my favorite episode. There are 6 episodes total in this season, so without further ado, let's get right into it. My least favorite episode from the season has to be Plaything. It's not necessarily bad, I just think it was the weakest of the 6 episodes. So the story follows this guy's obsession with a video game that is technically a living being. The characters inside this game are alive and have their own kind of ecosystem. Without going into spoilers, I think the ending was pretty weak. It was a surprise, it was very interesting, but I definitely feel like it could have been done better. Moving on to the next episode in my order, Bête Noire. It followed the idea of if someone could change a person's reality by using the Mandela effect. For those not familiar, the Mandela effect is when people misremember something in the past. For example, the Monopoly man having a monocle when in reality he never did. I think this was a really interesting concept for Black Mirror to explore, and I think the story for this episode was really cool. I'd highly recommend this episode. Next on my list is Common People. So the story follows a couple that is having a normal life until the wife gets into an accident. She has brain trauma, but there's a cure for this brain trauma by having this subscription service to an implant that goes inside of your head that allows you to live normally. But there's a catch. You can only be within a certain range of like cell towers. It's kind of like having a cell phone in your head and you need to be within this range of towers to live. And it's kind of a commentary on how a lot of things in our current day are subscription based, and I think that is something definitely very relevant. Now going into my top 3 episodes of the season, number 3 I have Hotel Reverie. It follows an actress who is starring in an old movie, but she's actually going inside the movie itself. The characters around her are all made up by artificial intelligence, but they are playing out the roles of the characters inside the movie, but they actually believe the movie is going on. It's really impactful, and I think it's just a really well done episode. It's a personal favorite, but the next 2, I believe, just might be a little bit better. Going into my top 2, my second favorite episode from the season was the USS Callister Into Infinity. Now, the USS Callister was a previous episode in Black Mirror in season 4, and I believe it's just one of the best in the entire show. The concepts explored in this episode go beyond what was explored in the original one, where the original one only focused on people's digital clones being trapped inside of a video game. This one explored more the ethics with that and how the game was even developed in the first place. Now going into my favorite episode, eulogy. It follows a story of someone who just found out that a friend from a long time ago has passed, and he has to explore these memories to kind of help with the eulogy of this person. I think the idea of going into these memories and the photos themselves being frozen in time rather than them coming alive, I thought that was a really cool touch, and it kind of made it harder for the character to uncover these memories, and he had to really think instead of just seeing it all unfold. He had to remember it himself in order to see it fully come alive. Overall, I think Black Mirror Season 7 was really well done. I highly recommend you take a look at the season. That's all I have to say. We'll be back after this quick commercial break.
Life's daily battles are not meant to be fought alone.
We're not powerless, so long as we don't lose sight of what's important.
Don't be afraid to seize that moment to talk to your friends.
Cloud, you okay?
Because checking in on a friend can create a safe space.
The first step on our new journey. You coming?
Reach out to a friend about their mental health. Seize the awkward. It's totally worth it.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes.
Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
This week, Liam and I are playing a game of Who Said It? Movie Edition with our host, Anthony Accardi.
Thanks, guys. There's plenty of standout movie quotes out there that stick with us, whether it's because they're powerful, hilarious, the delivery, or whatever. Now, unlike these two, I'm not a film major, but I still know a thing or two, so let's see if they do too. Question 1. Wax on, wax off. A. John Kreese. B. Mr. Miyagi. C. Darth Vader. Or D. The Terminator.
That's Mr. Miyagi. Obviously. Wax on,
B!
wax off.
Correct. Question 2. My Precious. A. Gollum. B. Gandalf. C. Legolas. Or D. Frodo.
Oh.
I'll give that to you.
Okay,
Liam.
okay.
That was Liam.
That was Liam.
That's gonna be Gollum with the ring.
That is correct.
This is
Wow.
unfortunate.
1-1. Question 3.
It's not 1-1. It's 2-0.
Oh, well, they don't pay me to
this guy's
count.
throwing the game right now.
They don't pay me to count, and they don't pay me
Clearly.
at all.
No, I'm kidding. All right, let's go.
All right,
we got it.
Question
Let's go.
3. Hasta la vista, baby. A. John McClane. B. Rambo. C. RoboCop. Or D. The Terminator.
Oh.
Good googly moogly, I have an answer. D. Terminator.
Oh,
That is
you're
correct!
right.
And I feel like you get a bonus point for that aura response. Question 4. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads. Is it A. Marty McFly. B. Han Solo. C. Doc Brown. Or D. Tony Stark.
I'm gonna go with C. Doc Brown.
That is correct. Wow. Liam, what's going on, dog? You cracking under the pressure?
I think I am.
Well, you know what? Lock in,
Yeah.
bro.
Well, let's get to the next question, Anthony.
All right.
Ready? I'm ready to kick.
All right. Yes. Yes. Question 5. Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Is it A. Snape, B. Mr. Keating, C. Robin Hood, or D. Dumbledore?
I'm gonna say Mr. Keating.
That is correct.
That was a blind guess. Who's Mr. Keating?
tragic.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
All right.
Now, question 6. Hello, my name is blank. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Is it A. Inigo Montoya, B. Jack Sparrow, C. Maximus, or D. Luke Skywalker?
A. Inigo Montoya.
That is correct.
Absolutely correct.
Now, gentlemen, what is the most iconic movie quote?
I gotta go. You either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
Oh, that's
From The Dark Knight. It always holds true.
That's pretty true.
You're putting me on the spot right now.
Yeah.
I'll be real. My favorite quote is a Hangover quote, and I can't say it. So we're gonna move on.
Excellent. Well, guys, this seems like you've both passed the test, and you get 2 thumbs up. My time may be up with you guys today, but don't leave yet, as these 2 have some final words they want to say after this commercial break.
Do you enjoy debating Quinnipiac sports?
That's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out rhymes?
Pretty, that's like a crossover with a missed layup. All right.
Bobcat Breakdown is the place for you, with debate, analysis, and so much more.
Mate Marinov. He is good, but oh man, is he bad. And let's
that team is amazing. How do you not put Fairfield Women's Volley?
Tune in to Bobcat Breakdown every Tuesday night at 9:30 p.m. on Q30TV.com/watch.
No, I'm not gambling.
Live from the piazza, it's Quinnipiac tonight!
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
My time at Quinnipiac and in Q30 has been nothing short of unforgettable. I've been blessed with many opportunities I never thought were possible and made friendships that I'll remember forever. I transferred into Quinnipiac as a junior, lost and was hoping to salvage whatever time I had left in college. Unbeknownst to me, my 2 years as a Bobcat would end up being better than I ever could have imagined. Everything I've been able to do at Quinnipiac, a semester in Los Angeles, attending film festivals, being a part of so many projects, it all started with Q30 and the incredible people who showed me there's a way to being the person I want to be. My advice for my peers who are younger: the days are long, but the years are short. Your journey's going to take so many twists and turns you never expect, and you'll change in ways that might honestly baffle you. But if you're open to new things, jump on every opportunity, and lead with your heart, you'll discover that real life can be even more beautiful than the dreams you started with. It was an honor to be among all the incredible folks here at #that in Q30 as a whole. I hope I inspired you as much as you inspired me, because as much as my own successes have brought me joy, helping lift others and be a part of their stories has been the greatest gift I could ever ask for. Thank you to all who listened to me on air, watched my packages, or laughed at my comedy sketches, and I wish Q30 and the talented folks in it nothing but the best in their future endeavors.
I just want to say thank you to everyone that has made my time at Q30 and Quinnipiac so special. I met so many amazing people that have not only helped me grow in my studies, but have also enriched my life in countless ways. I remember walking into this very studio for the first time. I was nervous and unsure of myself, entering a setting with so many brilliant minds. These fears were quickly washed away as the positive energy and support I received truly made me feel I belonged. From reporting on major news to just hanging out in the studio, I'm honored to be part of such an exciting organization. I want to thank my family for their constant support throughout my time on #that. I would also like to thank my executive producers, Michael, Joe, and for encouraging me to take this role as associate producer. I would also like to thank my fellow associate producers, Patrick, Sam, and Aaron, for all their help and support. Lastly, a thank you to the countless people within Quinnipiac who have given me their friendship and support. I truly could not have done it without any of you. Although my time here is coming to a close, I'm extremely excited to see what the future holds for this show and the amazing people behind the scenes. That's all for this week's #that. Make sure to follow us on social media, our accounts, to stay up to date.
I'm Ryan Zayaks.
And I'm Liam Chen. From the producers, talent, and everyone working hard behind the scenes, thank you for watching. #that, and we'll see you again next week.